영문도
사실 본인은 자네에게 많은 고마움을 느끼고 있다네. 자네를 관리하는 실적을 인정받아 이 중앙본부의 팀장으로 전환 발령을 받았다고 들었어서 본인이 자네를 담당한 이후로 한 번도 탈출하지 않았다고 하던데 설마 본인을 위해서 참으신 겐가? 오늘은 경보가 울리지 않으려나? 이 무슨 무서운 생각을? 아니, 별일 안 일어나서 심심하다던가 그런 생각을 하진 않았다네.
Okay, we should be good. First thing I probably actually want to do is this to make sure that the sound works, or at least that the sound's balanced. Because there's one, it's one thing if it's pre-stream, it's another when it's like actually on stream. This also does give me a little bit of a chance to admit something. I never really looked at these passives. Like, every time this unit applies 10 points count to all allies. Gain 1 nebulizer alpha every time this unit applies 10 points count to allies with nebulizer effects. So basically you use this once and it keeps sustaining poise. So I basically never really paid much attention to the fact that the ego skills themselves have passives. I would build teams and stuff around even 2-star ideas. Thanks, Rodian. I would build teams even around like 2-star ideas that had passives that could help the 3 stars, but I never paid enough attention to the fact that the egos had those skills, that the egos have passives. Which is admittedly entirely my own fault. But now, with that in mind, Mirror Dungeon shouldn't be too bad. And then after Mirror Dungeon, I'll properly read through... I'll read through the wall perks, because I've been kind of sitting on that. And mostly because I kind of want to see what some of the... Kind of want to see what happens, considering the fact that I hadn't. Because last time I touched this... Last time I touched this was... for the End of the Darkness stream. And we went straight into the fight. Didn't really get literally anything that was going on. Other than the rematch with Night of Despair. I had a run yesterday that was a lot more clean than this. This should still be fine. Yeah, this is fine. Should be fine. Though, I will say, for as much as I've been making sure not to read the event prior to Walper, I did do the fight a couple times so I could properly understand like how it worked. Easy. So I'll probably read that either... Don't know if I want to do it at the end of the stream or not. Well, actually, it's not too long, and I now have a better understanding of how the fight works. Yeah, because only the fight itself was like 30 minutes. How's the taste? They said they brewed it with the leaves. With the tea leaves Shichun gave us. It's called Bai Hao Yinxin, or something, I think. It's a nice cup of tea that goes down easily. Not as good as Shiren's, though. Yeah? Cool wind of Danganwan. I have to go back to pronouncing these. Danganwan blows under this pavilion. Now that we've survived another huge incident, I was planning to hold some consultation sessions with the sinners like I always do, but I wasn't sure when Mephistopheles was coming back, so I decided to conduct them outdoors. Well, a change of scenery can be nice from time to time. As much as I'd love to be a part of this discussion, this thing didn't come with a mouth. That must be a sore spot, Dante. You've expressed that feeling before, remember? Whenever we were snacking together, you'd say things like that. You gave up the complimentary food from the warp train to Rhodia too. And, you must have been curious of its taste back then. Well, you know, it's not all that bad. I think I'd feel regret and sadness. It's kind of tragic almost. Ever since Honglud severed the cycle that bound the hierarchs of Daganwan and sealed the Xian in their temple, he's been making a lot of expressions that I hadn't seen before. Moreover, lately, I've been getting the impression that he's actively been trying to express his feelings and thoughts, even for things his past self would have simply accepted as is. Like an old dam breaking, its fresh spring water surging to freedom. I can't give you a mouth, but you can trust me to give you a very detailed explanation of flavors, so feel free to ask me anytime. Yeah, thanks. And honestly, I think that's a good thing, especially because, more so than anything, I could sense that Honglu was gently enjoying these moments. I think I can safely mark him down as experiencing very positive changes in my consultation notes. Though I'm not sure if any of that'll get through to you, given that you probably don't even remember the taste of food anyway. Let me change that to start it on the path to achieving some very positive changes. Still, I don't want to say sheltered. Dense. I will say he's still dense. Excuse me, manager. That's when Sinclair suddenly rushed up to us on the pavilion. What's going on? I know you're in the middle of a consultation, but there's this huge Bigetta house truck by the entrance that's... The point is, I think you might have to come see this. Huh? Oh. Oh. That's how we're doing this. Is that... The truck was indeed massive. It certainly did live up to all the fuss Sinclair kicked up, but... Ain't that something, huh? It didn't seem that the other sinners were all that concerned about it. Is everything okay here? Hope it's not another attack on Daganwan. No, it ain't. Well, we did suspect that at first, but it's alright. It's because no one on the bus knows how to observe. It's all about the details, get it? Look, it's right there, the company logo. Where? Seriously? It's right there, in that corner over there. Yeah, like, down here. Ishmael pointed at something on the vehicle, irritation clear in her voice. I stared really hard at whatever she was pointing at. I managed to find Limbus Company's logo painted on the bus. It was the size of a palm. They were this close to chopping the truck into a million pieces when I pointed that out. Gotta say, I'm impressed you even managed to make out what that is. Doesn't look like anything other than a smudge to me. I guess eyesight's really the first thing that goes with age. I mean, it's kinda their fault for making it so small and inconspicuous, you know? That's because it's not a public-facing vehicle. Zod walked into her circle, dusting her hands and brushing past a few disgruntled words. This is a research vehicle used by the LCE department. You've used this once before, remember? Extrapolating from the materials and the color of the truck's cover panel, it can be determined that this is the same transportation device used for regular checkup. Right on. Ever since you used it to arrive at LCE, we've been using it to move the LCC base around. Hang on, does that mean that we were your guinea pigs? And guess what? Just today we opened the truck to just transport a different team. Don't ignore me. Instead of answering Heathcliff's question, Sod walked up to the truck and swung open its rear doors. In it, we saw the same mess of machines we saw back then, and hey, this light. The now familiar green light. I see. Sod, has there been any further modifications to this vehicle since then? Well, I'm not certain on the details, but LCE's chief researcher, Hohenheim. Yes, him. Are you two well acquainted? Not very well, but I do make an effort to remember his minor yet numerous mistakes. She sounds oddly happy. Anyways, according to the research report he gave us, the vehicle's been modified to allow for universal use across other departments of Limbus Company. LCB's bus, Mephistopheles, right? The report said that something about using the back door of that bus is a reference to equip the vehicle with various functions, and that explains why this phenomenon is taking place here. Walpurgis Night. I'm still just gonna call it Walpurgis Night. Yet, how's this possible when we sit not astride the bus seats? It is not a theoretical impossibility. Certain major parts of the technology forming its engines have been shared with Hohenheim. It is within the realm of possibility that the engine's influence may be transferred there as well. However, the means by which it has affected this vehicle has to be studied. It seems to comprehend our absence and the subsequent separation from the bus. Could it, mayhap, be reacting to the presence of a golden bow? At this moment, Mephistopheles is currently boarded by Virgilus, Charon, and various other members of the LCCB, including Pilot. Therefore, if they have traveled far, your conjecture may be true. Or, there exists a flow that ensures our encounter with the Walpurgis Night regardless of the environment surrounding us. Perhaps. Basically saying there is whatever type of MacGuffin to ensure that we do not miss a Walpurgis Night. Faust talked to herself, staring pensively into the distance, before turning towards us again with mild resignation. Lead the way, Dante. If it has found us, then it must rightly be observed. L-Corp. Old L-Corp, this is Central. This is Tipperit. Huh. I knew it. It's the former L-Corp's turn. What do you mean, knew it? Heathcliff opened up a betting pool about whether the next Walpurgis Night location is going to be. A betting pool? Alright, but I'd say pay up he gets. Why would you? You told me it was just about the time. It was about time the patterns changed. No wait, but it was just the right time to bet against the odds. How did Rodian convince Sinclair to start gambling? By the looks of it, the bet seemed to have been whether this Walpurgis Night would take us to the library or the Lobotomy Corp headquarters. These have been consistently alternating. I don't see why that path would change, at least not yet. Hey, something about this place seems a bit different from the former L-Corp hallways we saw in the past. This Dawson said as well, Manager Esquire. Oh, 'tis familiar, yet unfamiliar indeed. A stage for a play, almost. It seems it's gotten wider, too. It's still the same long and narrow hallway, but it's slightly wider. Yes, Central is slightly wider than the other departments, and it also has multiple layers. As in where the other ones typically have 2, Central has effectively 4. Well, it is unknown as to how many days have passed since in these headquarters. Approximately 25. Prithee, repeat what you have said? No. The subject can be discussed later, when its veracity becomes clearer. So there being progress in the L-Corp is significant. Interesting. Welcome, Stephanie. Or Steffi? Steffi. Sharing the current circumstances of this place, we find ourselves at the L-Corp headquarters of a certain day, and it's the Central Command to be exact. Why are you so cagey about giving the exact date? The very center of the middle layer. Then the ones we've visited so far must have been in the upper layer. I am doing well. Correct. It is said a department of the Lobotomy Corporation headquarters will progressively unlock with the passage of time. That is correct. According to the reports, when the headquarters crumbled and fired the skyward light, it was... Indeed, it appears that with every visit, we find ourselves at a further point in time here, as soon as the current day can be pinpointed. We might even be able to experience that day. Why? Why would we want to go then? Why would we want to go there? According to the reports, when the headquarters crumbled and fired that skyward light, it was, indeed. It appears that with every visit we find ourselves at a further point in time here. As soon as the current day can be pinpointed, we might even be able to experience that day. So now we're on that countdown to day 100. And we're at the very least around day 25. That is not fun to think about. Perhaps then. What happened? Why is alarm 1 going off? Didn't take long. We're here to take care of some ordeal or something, aren't we? Hey, I'm not complaining. We've kind of been loafing around doing nothing while Shichin left for the grand conference to decide the future of Dagonwan or something. So you've just been killing time. Okay. Well, you have so little time. I must prepare a more intense training regimen to make up for a lost time. Whichever it is, it'll be fun. I love that it switches between the old text boxes. What's everyone waffling on about? Cute the Sephiriah, and it's an angry one this time, so it must have been a female Teferet. Yeah, what did you expect? Some other voice speaking through Central Command PA system other than the Teferets? Teferet. The employees are confused. Please explain the situation to them. Huh? There's 2 of them? There being 2 of them is significant, but we do know that Hod is at least acting weird at this point. Yes, I'm also Teferet. The Central Command, unlike other departments, boasts a rather significant size. It is large enough to have been managed in 2 areas, A and B. It is said that this is why they have 2 separate Sephiroth managing this department. Sure. Yeah, and it's a lot, even between the both of us. Which is why it's up to you to be more thorough. Yeah, bring out the ordeal already. What are we destroying this time? We are not dealing with an ordeal. Like I said, what are you all waffling on about? There's been an abnormality containment breach. The whole company's about to go belly up because everyone else is off trying to suppress the mess on the other side. Then, the alarm that was blaring all throughout the company suddenly went quiet. That's a level 2 alarm, which means something really, really bad is happening. Great, look at what you did. A bunch of slackers. Get to our headquarters now. Deal with the blue entity. That's not fun. My day is going well. Complete the encounter with the central team commander, surviving and defeating 3 swords. So the commander has to do it. Captain. I'll end up switching for you. What fun. Thankfully, I've done this beast enough times now. I do not want you to deal. I don't want you to deal. Whatever. I'm just gonna have to make do. Should be better off actually fighting. Yeah, no, there's no point in me. No. She might be better. No, the way things are right now, she's better off doing that. Favored, favored, favored. She's not going to gain anything off of it. She's currently still too healthy for that to be a real issue. Then all I'm really doing is just building up. Easy. Wait, did he lose sanity off that? I really don't want to use this right now, especially since that's gonna give me... It's gonna give me a hysteria, but it's fine, I guess. I'm honestly surprised she won that. This one's kind of elaborate, huh? The floating swords are so hard to parry. It's got such a long range and it's so thin that I can hardly see where it is. As if to prove Sinclair's words, the Azure abnormality fired another volley of thrusting swords in our direction. Just as we braced. Rays of pink light coalesced before Sinclair, materializing before someone rushed onto the scene and parried away the flying swords. Huh, her again? Leaping right into the action the moment the second warning goes off. Even in comparison to... Sorry I'm late. Here comes Magical Girl. She's coming in with no... She's level 60? I was wondering when that alternative thing would have come in. If the target that Arcana Slave hits does not have Withering Knight, apply what use am I to all allies? That's really bad. She doesn't turn? Interesting. Okay. I'll deal with that when it becomes an issue, I guess. She's close to stagger. Yeah, no, her stagger threshold's like right there. If her stagger threshold's right there... Would it be better if she switches? I think it might be better if she switches just so that she gets it like immediately. Because the rest of this we won't have any problems with so long as... I don't want to use that right now. So long as Dawn wins that first one. Yes, I'm reading through the Walpurgis Knot, and then I'm going to do Mirror Dungeon. And then maybe if I have time after, I'll do the hard version. Come on, please. There it is. More Rupture. Okay, we have 2 in negative. Dawn has to take out this one. Everything else at least needs to be stalled. She's gonna go Manic though. I'm sure it'll be fine. She does not like the Yi song. You can block that. Okay, as long as I use the defensive skills for the others, then they should be relatively fine. Oh, she got it. That's 3 though. Oh, that sanity brought her winning that clash brought her up to 0. But still probably my favorite attack animation in the game. That's bad. She's alive, at the very least. 1 sword. She should start charging. That's really not good. Rodian just needs to win. She can probably win that no problem. Favorite for that. Can soften that one up, but nope, one of these isn't getting hit by anything. She's not gonna win that. In that case, it's better for her to block that. Yeah, we're just gonna make do, I guess. I do like how multiple of the LobCorp egos work very well for this. Like I tried to make Magic Bullet work before. I tried to make Magic Bullet work before, but since that kit already has so much sanity loss in it, turns out running Otis on that is very dangerous. Second sword. That one's a +10. If she does... Yeah, we can make this work. This can actually totally work. Or not. That means either Yi Song or Rodian. She's only at -7. She keeps winning too many clashes. Surely this will be fine. He rolled a lot of positives for being in negative right now. Sheesh. Well, she barely won that. Oh no, it's dead. She deals so much damage. What's really funny is that all the damage on this doesn't matter, but... But we'll take it, I guess. Her shield's almost gone, too. Last sword. She's... whatever, it's fine. Do I have serious Spellbuster? No. It's dead. Or at least it should be next turn. She is chunking her health. Oh, that should be it though. Rest well on Night of Despair.
이번 제압은 끝이야. 너희들도 고생 많았어. 티피리트, 너도.
We'll heal for Frost one day too. Then we'll be waiting for the respite to come, singing a song of our hometown.
휴식을 기다리며 고향의 노래를 부르고 있겠지.
If only.
승리의 보람과 세상의 아름다움에 대해 들어본 적 있는가?
But that went a lot smoother. Dawn didn't even take any damage, and she dealt 1,000. But that is the last of that challenge. Okay, so this is the middle of the fight. And this one... I feel so bad, but she won't be a threat to you now. She is like blindingly white. Art thou verily a veritable magical maiden? Of course I am. I'm a magical girl fighting to vanquish these evil arcana. And this magic in the legendary codexes does exist for true. And thy most fashionable costume must be forced to gather the magical powers. Don Quixote, calm yourself. Where are you guys going? Val somehow managed to precisely snatch Don Quixote's wildly flopping arms mid-motion and dragged her away from the magical girl and back to our group. Wherefore this thou drag me from this consolation of great significance? I have mountains of questions to ask her. That thing is no magical girl. What is with thy conspiratorial low voice and this... Oh? O-01-04 Risk Level Love. It is a veritable anomaly, dubbed the Queen of Hatred for reporting purposes. Why? That maiden there is an abnormality, yet she speaketh and appeareth just like a human. And to label someone whose sheer appearance exudes justice, Queen of Hatred? I believe that has been impressed upon you many times in the past that abnormalities should not be judged by their exteriors. Indeed, they possess the sense of self. They think and they feel. Perhaps by the head standards, they may meet the criteria of what is considered a human. However, that is an abnormality. No more, no less. We slowly turn around to look at the blue-haired thing, compelled by Val's stern tone. She's just being a girl. But it was just there, humming a light tune, swinging that staff around. Oh, the lights. Little tinkle. Wonderful. Looks like I managed to protect the peace once again. And when the red lights turned off, the alarm stopped blaring in our ears. So she should just go back to her normal containment unit then. It puffed away with the same pink swirl of light she first appeared with. So yeah. This is annoying. Why did that abnormality have to be contained at our department? It couldn't be helped, to put it. Not even the manager knows which abnormality will appear at the headquarters. That is not true. Yeah, that's true. But she just gets on my nerves, you know? Always showing up at the tail end of a huge mess like the second warning, barely doing anything to help, leaving the scene like she did something. And you know how she completely loses it unless we baby her all the time, right? Tipperit, the mic is still on. Yeah, so let them listen. The employees have to know that this abnormality is still an abnormality at the end of the day, I guess. Her management appears to be quite the source of stress, it seems. That is one way of putting it. Yet odd is odd here. The maiden hath assisted us dearly in our battle, did she not? To suggest that she is hardly of any help is preposterous. Depends on your definition of help, and depends on what breaks out and how much she actually can help. Please review this document. It is a consolation the management reports that the abnormality from the former Fortunately, it seems that an extended period of management experience has left quite a detailed report behind. Fortunately, it seems that an extended period of management experience has left quite a detailed report behind. Do you mean that in the case of there being 25 days, or do you mean that in the course of it being multiple years? Oh, damn. She wasn't kidding about having to baby this one, huh? The sinner's expressions all start to turn rather sour the further they read along the report. I skimmed through it and looks like she got this compulsive obsession that she always has to be on the side of justice. She grows more and more hysterical the longer a peaceful period lasts. What is her problem? Got anything to say to that, oh great scholar of fixers? Indeed, it is quite different from what I anticipated. As fortune should have it, we did not encounter the mutated form of the Queen of Hatred today. However, as they also possess such a thing as psychological... However, as they also possess such a thing as psychological stability, or sanity, it seems that employees assigned to this abnormality have the responsibility to keep it at higher levels at all times. It cannot have been easy. It cannot have been easy to put up with humoring a monster in human skin. Oh, you haven't seen a monster in human skin yet. At least humoring them is the extent of the required effort at this point. Are you implying that the management of abnormalities entails something far more complicated than simply calibrating their sanity at a reasonable level? Perchance. Yes, that is correct. It seems that this headquarters is yet to extract a larger quantity of abnormalities. A moment, if you will, to say that they extract. Yisong furrowed his brow and started, noticing a strangeness in her choice of words. Yeah, her phrasing is weird. She clearly actually knows a lot more. At least the files that she's allowed to have access to here. We did not encounter the mutated form of Queen of Hatred today. She knows of that. However, as they possess such things as psychological stability or sanity, it seems that employees assigned to this abnormality had the responsibility to keep it at higher levels at all times. Yes, you have to maintain her sanity, or else she becomes hysterical. If she becomes hysterical, she'll break out and become a monster. At least humoring them is the extent of the required effort at this point. She is referring to ones that start requiring sacrifices. You're implying that the management of abnormalities entails something far more complicated than simply calibrating their sanity at a reasonable level. Yes, that is correct. Because honestly, so far, we've been getting off very lucky. Of the ones that we've dealt with directly, and of the ones that we have Ego Gear for, because what? Forsaken Murderer you talk to. Meat Lantern, you only have to talk to a couple times. You do not need to persistently keep up with it. Or more ideally to say that you shouldn't ideally consistently keep up with it. Since if it gets out, then it causes problems. Spider-Bud, once in thousands of good deeds, once in 100 good deeds, you talk to Spider-Bud, you have to just not clean the room. I think you have to do attachment work? I'm trying to remember. Being a middle manager would be a lot more sustainable in my sanity if it was that. Welcome, Kay. It seems that this headquarters is yet to extract a larger quantity of abnormalities. Faust either misspoke or she's allowed to say extract. Because that is a very specific word that means very specific things in this context. It seems that this headquarters is yet to extract a larger quantity of abnormalities. A moment, if you will, to say that they extract. Yisong furrowed his brow and started, noticing a strangeness in her choice of words. But we already found ourselves returned to the mess of machinery that was LCE's vehicle. She knows how the abnormalities are actually coming into L-Corp. Very specifically, she used the word extract, which means she knows about the well. How much information are you slowly getting further and further? It seems that this is where the scenario ends. Dante, as there may be further information that can be garnered from this experience, repeated visits to this Walpurgis Night is also recommended. Okay, got it. Yisong approached Faust to continue his earlier question, but Faust only shook her head in response as if to say that she wasn't certain, or that she couldn't tell him just yet. To me, someone who doesn't even know what's going on with the company that we're working for, all these stories from the former L-Corp in the library are filled with nothing but confusing mysteries. Yeah, that's fair to say. But something about it makes me feel as though everything that happened in those two places are at once foundations and clues to what we are going through. Yes, but not specifically just the collective we. Very certainly it is something more pointedly directly connected to Dante, and whether or not Dante ends up remembering those words, or remembering what specifically transpired, or if it's an approximation to Angela. That's just for us to later find out, I guess. Maybe I can even use these moments to understand the stories I've forgotten, the purpose of this company I work for. So, let's up for a second run. Let's, like Faust, focus on looking for those clues left behind. I'm assuming that means to tell you, hey, do a hard mode run and you might see something. What exactly that is, I'm not sure, and I'm a little concerned about going there, at least right now. Because what I mostly wanted to do was my dungeon run. Because I'll do that and then I'll do the hard mode. And I already have everything set up. I don't know what I'll change. No, I know what I'll change Sinclair to, likely. But the rest of these I mostly have just for the Starlight bonuses. Average level is 43. That is a non-factor with the actual team that I'm going for. Did I want Captain Ishmael? Yeah, because I don't really have... Because I can probably switch to Molar. I'll switch Molar. I'll do Sinking Charge and I can make this work. But if I'm doing Sinking Charge, then I have to make sure that these all have the right... Because you're going to want this. Like sinking. Adder Blossom. Because if she's also going to be going to... Because if I'm going to have her switching to Molar, then that means I'm going to want stuff for Tremor. And if I'm going to want stuff for Tremor, I can do... I can keep those. Keeping you for the passive. Because if I am doing... No, because you don't have... I'm gonna probably switch you to middle so that I can get resonance off of these. No reason not to use the Botany Ego then. Yeah, so I'll just have these to be able to switch around if I need to. Then Gregor... fucking useless. Alright. Also still trying to figure out somewhat of how this works. I think those pluses are just when you add Starlight to them to make them better. Just to improve the potency. I don't want another theme pack. Don't really care about levels. What I care about is getting ego gear. Certain ego choice +1. Gain 3 tier 3 ego gear of your choice. Yeah, because you can spend these for extra. Oh. That means if I just want for a lower tier 3, that's if I want to go for like a long run. Okay, so I'm starting to understand how these work. Yeah, because you can use these to just superpower them. 2 free keyword refreshes. Yeah, I'll just do this just to... I'll do this just so I can just be super powered, because like why not? Because why not? 2 would be sinking charge. If I can get 3, 2 random allies gain 2, then I don't want this. I'd be better off getting sinking. Attack that inflicts sinking potency. Yeah. Yep, sinking is probably the choice then. Prioritize sinking, then sinking, charge, pierce, blunt are likely going to be the main focus. So this shouldn't be too bad. It's mostly just going to be kind of a run through. When staggered, recover from stagger, then it's their next turn flex sinking potency. Don't really need that. But compared to the other ones, this one gives me the best. It also has some pure stuff and some charge stuff. Yeah, go for it. Yes. When hitting and dealing, yes, yes. Only apply to number 3. Slash skills. Bleed. Okay, so then I also have a backup of slash on my number 3. Which means... sinking... sinking, slashing on 3, which would be you. You, then you. Then multi-crack, because why not? Then the rest stay in the back for passives. Sure down, whatever.
기운이 솟는다, 단테. 가서 빨리 때려눕히자고.
Probably be better off making sure that Rodian's sanity stays positive for right now. In the event that I run into a bad fight, I can do that. If I can switch things around.
오, 머리 좋다, 단테. 방금 완전 좋았어.
I did not notice that I was using my inner arcana. Whatever. That's applying a lot of sinking though. Which is both really good for Heathcliff and Rodian.
방금 전투는 좀 예상 깊었어요. 어떤 고래도 거뜬히 잡을 것 같은 부지런인데요.
At this point, it's just gonna be Rodion as the star of the run. That's kind of the end goal at this point. I say, knowing full well that, knowing that Ryoshu's still here. Also, if Faust has slashing, then she should be 3, because she's not... Well, no. No, strike that. No point. There was no point in her needing to be 3. Well, no. Let me double check. Slash skills, blah blah blah. When attacking enemy in a week, the slashing, da da da. It'd be more damage, but no, it is better off on him. It's better off on him because he has more slashing skills as opposed to Faust is only 1. So then we still have like pretty good coverage then. Ishmael, why are you solo? Okay, she at least... Maybe putting Captain Ishmael in this scene wasn't the best idea. She really has a hard time with other people being happy. God, they're so cool. Ish is way too close to corroding off of nothing. Yeah, I need to switch her with okay. She's at least slightly more sane now. Slightly. Talisman, this is Rupture. Rupture and Poise. Sloth and Wrath. I don't really need Rupture. Yisong.
억압 작업이 성공했어.
I don't want to peek at the book, but I will. I'll snuff out the candles. Probably shouldn't have done that. But if I get plus I charge out. Penalize the Pride Affinity skill, gain 2. We have to make this. We will simply make do. This gives me sinking synergy, but Sync potency increase, kills offensive one. It's like they're reasoning at the same conditions, gain offense up. Yeah, no, she's better off having that then. So that's boat works. I swear I was gonna change somebody else. Oh. Middle. Because assuming that this works the way that I think it does, then lobotomy ego should get synergy. I can switch you over because that'll give me a charge passive, and that's good for now. Fire, fire. Flick tremor. Switch to sinking. This I will get at the end. Eyes with +7 charge count, gain haste, gloom affinity. Restore her sanity. Free refresh. Free refresh. Homeward would provide healing. Do I need that though? I do. Yeah. Sinking? I do. At this point I'm just probably gonna end up... Yeah, I'll do this. I didn't sell the useless thing I didn't need. Whatever. I also didn't upgrade any of the gear, which is kind of stupid, but I'll make do. One, two, slashing. Yeah, no. Like, I'm trying to get... I'm trying to mentally disjoint myself from, like, always prioritizing Ish whenever she's in the party. Mostly because, the way that things are very much going now, the carry is going to be Rhodian. That was already a stagger. There's so many parts of her design that I love for that. Especially the ego gift. This will be fine. I'm gonna save that. You have too much sanity. Because that's still just gonna be envy anyway. Saving to optimize. I really want to see what boss I'm gonna end up deleting. They didn't need to make Yisung that cool, but I'm really glad that they did. Sorry, buddy. Is she almost that serious? Red Eyes is still closed. I can't wait. Every day I am waiting. I am waiting for Ryoshu's chapter. Slowly but surely. Because at this point I am like... Ooh. At this point I'm like 95% certain she's gonna get the first Aleph. Or she will be connected to the first aleph that we end up seeing. That dude just exploded. Sucks to be him. 2, 3. You're weak to slashing. Oh well, sucks for you. She's not at 3. I'll be very interesting. It's short, but it's very... Ooh. It's short, but that also means that there's a lot that they can probably adapt from it. Because Wings also wasn't too long. But we'll probably get a lot more info, or at least like a tasting of where they're going to go with it with the Intervalo. Because that last thing that Konkui said about her following the path of Ashura makes me very, very, very interested in where they're going to take that. The Unloving, no. Emotional flood to be pierced. It's either emotional flood or to be pierced. Kinda want to be pierced, because that'll help Rodian even more. They did adapt a lot of the personal story out there into it. Which is why I'm very... When it's... Ooh. When there's... When there's not as much to take, like, word for word from a story, you get so much more room to adapt into kind of like bring it together in whatever way you want it to be. Like, it's a very freeing type of way to adapt something. And especially because she is, like, without a doubt my most favorite character. Like, not like, okay, from the start Ryoshi was like my number 2, easy. Jeez, I have not fought you guys in a while. Wait, why did you start? Oh no, your sanity. I didn't consider that. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Because since the start, Ishmael was probably my number 1 personal... Ishmael was probably my number 1 personal interest, but as the story has gone on, and the more that, like, the characters have gotten a chance to kind of be themselves, the more and more Ryoshi has crept up as my favorite. Especially all the illusions that they're making with her and Kali. The stuff with Spider-Bud, which is already one of my favorite abnormalities. Like, there's a lot going on with her that makes me very excited with her. She does so much damage. Been going through these floors, or at least these fights, very, very, very fast. I will accept the blood donation. And I got more of those. I don't want to switch these around. That's only deployed to 3, and I want them to be... I'm trying to be smart about these, because I'm kind of just... Because right now all I'm really doing, but I kind of just want to stack the stuff that'll make Rodian stronger. Just for funsies. Then I can sell 1. Don't know why I stopped counting after 1. I'm winning a clash using a skill that inflicts rupture, not using rupture. This one, I don't need that, but it would still be useful. So for now, I'm not gonna really mess with it. So increased sinking, that'll just constantly make everything worse for them. If at less than 3 charge count, gain plus 3 charge count next turn start. Less than 4. Less than 5, gain plus 5. Because that'll just jumpstart. Gloom affinity skills. No. Pride affinity skills. No. So I don't really need those. I could sell the... Can sell that because none of what I'm doing inflicts that. So base skill, the skill has plus 5 sinking potency, heal, SP on self. I kind of want to avoid that at least for now. Less affinities, that means that would go to Ryoshu. That's an oscillator. I want charge because I'm not really getting it anywhere. Heal HP and SP equal to the sum of charge count and unique charge consumed by attack this turn if the unit is less than 50%. Boost the heal amount, yes. Don't really need it, but that'll just boost my sustain. I want to get to an enemy that I can just bully to the point in which they will literally just explode. That is unclashable, but let's see if we can burn down these limbs. Actually, give that for more charge. I don't know why I find tragically sad female knights so attractive. But it's like such a perfect fit for Rodian. There's a stagger. That sinking count's getting really high. This can kill. I am like... I'm willing to stake my life on that. Yeah, no, he's dead. Okay, Heathcliff. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be funny. This is real funny. Okay, now I really want to see. The problem is, I'm definitely going to run into something. Yeah, it's a +4 Pierce. Anyway, single coin or a pride affinity skill. Okay. The problem is that I'm undoubtedly going to spent use forming hate. When consuming charge count with attack skills, gain charge. That's really cool. I'm not sure if I want to fight Protect the Town. I do want to see what this is, though. Because that's new. Thank you for Bottomless Shack. Oh, these are so cool. Ah, that's not good. The containment unit's door was open. Inside this unit was a girl, whispering, muttering to herself while curled up on the ground in gloom. There's good and there's evil in this world. When there's light, there's darkness. It can't entirely be one way or the other. I'm good, so they're evil. I'm a chosen one. Am I unnecessary? I hate peace. She's anxiety, compulsion, obsession, exhaustion. Dark energy radiates around her like a materialization of those very words. We don't live in a binary world defined only by good and evil. I don't think she would like that. What if you were to bring an end to peace? I don't like that either. Nope, I have to deal with it. You can't run away from your problems, Shinji. We don't live in a binary world defined only by good and evil. What if you were to bring an end to peace is what causes her to corrupt? So we don't live in a binary world. Wrath, pride, envy. Who can convey that thought? Oh, she just instantly clears it. Rodian also has like a massive... You know what? I want to do it with Dawn. Is that true? While she didn't seem to fully agree to what Don Quixote said, it seemed that it managed to alleviate some of her anxiety. Thanks, I must have been thinking about it too negatively. The girl smiles brightly as she hands something to Don Quixote. This is a token of our friendship. Please take it. Aww. And don't forget to call me when there's evil afoot, okay? But I'm not sure how much longer this chipper attitude will last. Magical Girl's lovely gift. All allies heal for 20 HP and SP. Aww. When an ally hits with a skill that gains or consumes charge or unique charge, a random ally's HP and SP heals by 3. That's really nice. When an ally recovers from panic or ego corrosion, heal 20 SP. You should have been the one who died. We're in a storage room at Lobotomy Corporation. There's a broken machine filled with what looks like chunks. Fuck. Fuck. There's a broken machine filled with what looks like chunks of flesh. What is that? Why is that just lying around in a storage room? Faust explains that it is the remains of a previous iteration of a Saphariah, disposed until replacement. Disposed upon replacement. Dude. Yes, Enoch finally has a voice, which is really tragic. So it's a dead body. Not exactly, only its memories are reset. Oh my god. Why? Why is this just a random event? This hurts so much. Not exactly. Only its memories are reset, with replacement the identical version of the Saphariah upon its initial production and reproduced. Almost the self-same way in which we are rewound. That is different. Yeah, kinda like us, huh? Things got a bit awkward. Yeah, the victory animation for the fight is, for the suppression is really long. What can I, as the manager, say to lift the mood? You're just trying to... I know we'll be fine like we always do. We could fail like we always do. Like, this event is us walking in on one of Enoch's dead bodies. And then the only choice as the manager is, God, this is awkward. I better crack a joke to make everybody feel better. I know we'll do fine like we always do. That's a very positive attitude. Well, Dante, is that confidence I sense? Despite my fears, that managed to lift the team's spirits in no time. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. That is just a dead kid. We just picked up a dead kid's body as an ego gift. When an ally dies in an encounter, gain 2 ego resources of all affinities. That is fucked up. Value disposal. I don't know. You don't need to show me the fucking... Combat start. If there are any allies who substituted in this turn, heal 10 SP for 2 allies with the least SP once per turn unless they are in panic or in ego corrosion. That's so fucked up. That is so cruel. That is so cruel as an ego gift. That is so mean as an ego gift. Well, technically, if you want to be specific, everybody in LabCorp is about 100 years old, but don't worry, don't remind Angela of that. Please don't remind Angela of that. What is that? Trauma shield! That's so cool! Reduce SP damage from enemies by 80%, reduce sinking damage by 80%, reduce 1 by turn end. That's so cool that you get white bullets! Can you upgrade that? No. Damn. That's super cool though. Damn. I did not expect that. Ooh. Using ego skills and fixing potency. Gain final power equal to gloom ego resource plus sum of other resources divided by 3. Yeah, give me that. Whenever an ally takes a hit, inflict 3 sinking on the attacker. Whenever an ally is killed, all allies gain +3 attack. The Unchosen. That's so cool that we're getting more ego gear. It's like a lot of, yeah, no, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. Dealing doing damage to an enemy with sinking, yeah, with a skill that inflicts sinking, inflict 3 sinking potency, yes. Have attack skills that apply sinking. I think technically yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, that would work. I'll get rid of... Oh, I'm gonna have to get rid of like 2. Enemy with a skill, missing HP. Skill is Wrath Affinity. I can get rid of this. I'll get rid of 1 more to make sure. It's probably just gonna have to be the bleeds. Yeah. Triggers +5 potency heal. Yeah, no, I want this then. That's probably the best I can do for right now. Stretch. Have to make sure to actually like start stretching a little bit more. That was a lot of really good sinking gear. But then doing this should be... Yep, her again. Ooh! Recording data and recording information gained from an encounter with the entity. Previous experiences with Walpurgis Knights. Walpurgis Knights. I'm just gonna keep changing out the Walpurgis Knights. Particularly in cases in which the lobotomy corp headquarters was the destination, have been battled against entities known as ordeals. However, this scenario in which its participants are to be placed in a containment breach situation provides an opportunity to encounter an abnormality contained within the headquarters. As such, this record will, while reflecting as much of the information that was contemporaneously available with the abnormality's containment, explored a contrast with the risk level assignment system devised by LCE. According to extracted information, this entity was labeled the Knight of Despair, a humanoid, sapient, and sentient entity. A notable aspect of this abnormality is that it possesses a particularly direct connection to other abnormalities, each of which will be briefly touched upon later in this report. And it seems this group of abnormalities all called themselves Magical Girls. At this moment, it's difficult to assess information that holds answers to questions such as, what does this magical girl terminology refer to? Or have they once truly existed? However, encountering all these entities and extracting information from them should prove to be an avenue from which one might learn more about the lesser-known parts of the city truths. According to the available records, the headquarters once managed O-0104, the Queen of Hatred, and O-01-64, the King of Greed, in addition to the entity in question, O-0173, the Knight of Despair. All magical girls were categorized in risk level WAG, and it seems LCE has labeled the Knight of Despair a WAG-04 entity. Referring to records of its management procedures, the conditions for containment, this one is long. The conditions for containment breach incident with this abnormality are rather specific, which means that it does not occur often. Yes. Typically, she would despair and breach whenever the one that she was protecting ended up dying. Which is why you kind of ended up... Basically, she was one of the WoWs where, like... where she would only get out if something bad was happening, and if she got out while something bad was happening, she would just make the situation worse. Therefore, it is possible to understand how some might come to conclude that it does not actually pose any particular high level of danger. However, significant casualties are expected once it does escape. It can be rather confidently said that from the available information, this entity should be ranked at least WAF-05 or WAF-06. However, it appears that the availability of the suppression method, which has been made available in written form, has influenced LCE's designation. She's really cool. I liked her a lot. I ended up really liking the WoWs because of the, a lot of the very helpful things that a lot of them ended up doing. A predictable conclusion drawn by the minds of those who do not face these dangers in the field. It seems that all information that can be garnered and enumerated prior to actual encounter has been recorded, including a report. This report seems particularly personal. Hey, I've been thinking, does it seem to you guys that FAL seems to get a lot more invested when it comes to LCE-related things? That is patently untrue, a clear misunderstanding. Nah, misunderstanding my foot. Remember when we stopped by for that regular checkup? You guys all saw her bickering back and forth with that Hohenheim dude, right? Another misunderstanding. Hohenheim is not someone of any importance, at least not enough to bicker with Faust. He is always hovering somewhere underneath her radar. You sure? You two sure look super cool. The entry continues, but is obscured by what appears to be a visual noise. Did she just take her writing privileges away? Wait. Yeah, this is another one. It's just really long, damn. Recording information gathered from encountering the entity in battle. This report recovered particularities that have been observed in battle. The entity primarily carries out projectile attacks utilizing numerous pointed blades with levitational qualities. There does not appear to be any limit to how many swords can be summoned at once. As long as the abnormality maintains the will to engage battle, it can summon as many as it wishes to. True, but it tends to limit like around 5 or 6? Another aspect of note is that it possesses special versions of floating summoned swords, distinguished from the others by their size, and they seem to be key to suppressing this abnormality. Yes. It has been discovered that by challenging those swords, the abnormality's powerful defensive abilities could be worn down. This is a pattern that has not been recorded from the headquarters in the past. It seems that the Banii Corporation at this particular period in time focused more on preventing the abnormalities from escaping to begin with, instead of devising means to suppress them once they've breached containment. Yes. Yeah. Until today, this information has not come to light, as our primary enemies in previous WoW progress notes have been ordeals. However, if we are to encounter more of these scenarios in which we visit the headquarters to suppress escaped abnormalities, a careful approach, not dissimilar from the ones we employ to encounters with new abnormalities, must be engaged. As LCE has overlooked these particularities and has gone through a seemingly improvisational methodology to label this abnormality as a specific risk level, a request for reconsideration of the judgment-making process must be made in the near future. We also intend to report our observations of the unexpectedly allied abnormality 0-01-04, the Queen of Hatred. However, it is uncertain whether any more meaningful information can be gathered from the scenario. Nonetheless, a close level of observation will be maintained on the entity, concluding the report. I've also perused the past records, yet it appears that a great majority of these records explore the abnormality's emotional states. There's a lot of people talking about these, because it is like the first LARP Corp Abno that we're, like, dealing with. And it's a Wa. Which means it's setting us up to either deal with other ones that escape. That could also be a notable problem. Because, hey... Disciplinary would be the one to open up next in L Corp. Because if Disciplinary opens up, that's around the time we start getting Aleph. Like, between now and 1 year from now, which will be the next Lob Corp Walpurgisnacht, there has to be an Aleph fight in the game. Absolutely has to be. Because if the first Aleph, because if we do not fight Mimicry for one of the LobCorp Walpurgisnachts, I'm gonna be so mad. Looks like the abnormality used to bestow this thing they called blessing to an employee of its choice. The blessed employee's death or insanity seemed to be what causes the abnormality to breach containment, which means that the employee if blessed must be dead. Obvious, isn't it? This plays along with having Yisong, Ishmael, Heathcliff, Sinclair, and then Ish and Yisong again. A lot of them keep in. I like that you can also tell that this is Heathcliff because he says in it. So, you know that Miss Magical... Sorry, Sinclair. Abnormality made me think, what if this group of abnormalities were actually trying to help the employees? You have a case for 2 of them? I don't remember Greed helping me a lot. I hated dealing with her. You know who you sound like? Someone hypnotized by mermaids. Abnormalities are abnormalities. They might look like they're being helpful for a bit, but at the end of the day, they're just dangerous monsters. They may employ an unknown power to empower the sway of emotion, but the rational minds of archivists who created these records put to sleep in favor of purely emotional then. One may surmise that they were already corroded in part. Additional info learned about Queen of Hatred. Oh my god. Wait, why is this one about Queen of Hatred? Very little progress has been made in the scenario past passive observation. It seems that the scenario is not designed to allow for extended period of exchanges with the abnormality. Gathering from records of the headquarters in the past, it seems that coupled with 0-073, the Night of Despair, breaching containment, the activation of the second warning is the condition to have her join the employees in battle as an ally. Also, speaking of, too bad we can't drive Queen of Hatred insane this fight. I am thankful for that. This remix of Alarm 2, I love it. While this may constitute a containment breach in a more literal sense, as this entity voluntarily... Thank you for the follow it, Andy. Wait, why did I get the follower goal now? Oh, because it's the first one that happened on... I keep forgetting that that one's an effect that plays. Because that happened now instead of when it would have happened before. But thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay. Blue Sky and Discord links are down below. On the other hand, the abnormality grows violent and escapes. The abnormality grows violent and escapes. Wait, did I skip this? No, they do not consider this particular breach to be of any danger. On the other hand, the abnormality grows violent and escapes, becoming an enemy upon prolonged periods of inactivity. It is very unique in that regard. Yes, too long without her subduing an enemy, she will get mad and break containment, and then she'll become a problem. Its shape becomes serpentine, completely divorced from its current state, and attacks the employees once it truly breaches containment. It is quite unfortunate that there is no current way to verify that form for ourselves in this scenario, precluding us from gathering further intelligence. We don't need that info. We don't need that info. We don't need that info. best course of action at this moment, therefore, would be to use what fractured information is available to us to prepare for possible future scenarios. If we have to end up fighting her in the Ruina Walpurgisnacht, I'm gonna be so upset. In addition to its imperative that LC is urged to take such variables into consideration when designing the risk levels. Concluding the report. Boy, Lass. I'm just a messenger here, but she's telling me that it's almost like you've got the kind of vendetta against Poe. The entry continues, but it's obscured by what appears to be visual noise. Damn, she banned both of them. I love that Falsus can get like a little bit petty like that. Okay, now we can actually deal with her. Red versus Wolf would be really cool. Actually, now that you say that, I really want that too. Because that is, as annoying as that is in the Revelation, it is like one of my favorite fights. It's like it is a really cool thematic fight. It made me want to pull my hair out, but it's a really cool fight. This one... Rodian's still overwhelmingly dominating. Okay, all those are dominating. So now, my major question is, will Queen of Hatred show up in this fight, even though it's not in the scenario? Because if she doesn't, then it kinda changes the fight slightly. At the same time, doing normal mechanics means that she doesn't really do much after the stagger anyway. She's kind of melting. Oh, she's melting. The Queen of Hatred Dawn has Sinking Rupture and proceeds to have no Gloom or Gluttony. Nope, only Wrath and Envy. It does make her interesting though. Plus, her having Gluttony means that she's technically not Gluttony. Her having Rupture, she does show up. Oh, this is really cool. Yeah, no, same rules as before. But her having Rupture does mean that she gets to be a part of the seasonal trend of Rupture just being good. I can make this work. Welcome, Effie. I will reserve myself from asking questions about whether or not you should be asleep or not. Because it's always appreciated. 15 minutes is still more than enough time to enjoy yourself, and that's all that matters. Just realized I might be in danger here. Ish can take that hit, it's fine. "15 minutes is more than enough time to see this animation at the very least." I also didn't notice until recently, there's people in the background cheering her on. Oh, that hit all of them. That's 464. Come on, Heathcliff, you got it. You got it. I am unsure if Dragon's... I have no idea what Dragon Slave is. I always did wonder why they said Arcana Slave. Lena Inverse's ultimate spell and Slayers. If Lena technically counts as a magical girl, then possibly. How'd you roll a 19? One sword. Sorry, girly.
기운이 솟는다, 단테. 가서 빨리 때려눕히자고. 벗어날 수 없는 굴레인 거야?
I also love that they gave her a voice. They really didn't need to do that. But it just makes her even more charming. Is that one going after? It's going after Ryoshu. Magical girls protect magical girls here. I want to do blind obsession. Don't think that'll be worth it. Fast has no charge. So we'll do this. Brute Force. Can learn a spell so powerful that it warps chant from Slayer to Slave. That might be... Ooh. Then that actually might be it. Because all the other magical girl references are pretty on its surface, but that's the only one that kind of... That's the only one that I couldn't really get. Oh, I broke through her shield.
충전 최대치예요.
Slayers was one of those really... I don't want to say like... It's only a 2. It's not like old, but it's definitely one of those ones that has a very... has a very storied history that I feel like I kind of owe myself to watching. Like, it's one of those shows that I know is like important and kind of want to get around to it eventually. I need... No, because that's not reason. Fuck. I can make this work. 1, 2, 3. Should be good. If you watch a couple episodes and decide if you want to continue. I probably will. Despair from Earl King's counter description was reflect as keywords. I mean, it is a very similar mechanic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some overlap in it. Especially with how much it changes them. Especially with how much it changes them. That's gonna be a lot of damage. 347. I love this clash counter so much. Where he doesn't even need to do anything.
방금 전에도 굉장했다고. 베르가 그 인간도 이건 인정할걸?
I wonder if I can kill her before... If I can kill her before Arcana Slave goes off.
오작 터뜨려줘. 아르카나 세이버!
Looks like the answer is yes.
완벽한 한방. 시원한걸? 으타!
She was charging. Didn't need to. Lament, Mourn, and Despair, named as National S3, were mentioned in his counter, and Despair were flagged as Despair keyword. Given how many abilities in this game tend to... I want this. Given how many, like, abilities in this game tend to overlap, like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, reusing code is typically Sinking Deluge. I could do that. I could do that. But I already have a bunch of Sinking. That's the only one I don't have, though. I'll roll. Normal Seismic Zone, Crawling Despair. Fuck, I should have taken the other one. I'll take a certain world then. Earl King, the piece by Schubert. The poem is the piece. That is... I know what you're talking about. Vaguely. The Mountain King. Wild Hunt Heathcliff is the one that people typically refer to as Earl King. The Death Perception. Well, the one that we end up fighting is referred to frequently as Earl King. Oh, that means that these are just gonna be the... I'm gonna go off on a bold assumption. Wait, why is she back? Oh no, because she spent that, that's why. I'll block that then. Should be good enough to just win right through these.
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한걸?
Sink into despair, and then we can just cut them all down. She does so much damage.
아, 이런. 아무튼 놀라운 한방이에요.
How are you not dead?
오, 기운이 솟는다, 단테. 가서 빨리 때려 눕히자고.
Hang on. How do I make this work? 1, 2. You kill you. You kill you. Double kill. Then this should be enough.
죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 해. 지키기 위해서.
She's so cool. Okay, Don, you didn't need to do that, but alright. Like, the very obvious, the very obvious, like, big, well, Purgishnot pull, like, is clearly Dawn in a magical girl outfit, but
나중에 이야기할까?
from a thematic standpoint, and just how cool she looks, I love this Rodian ID so much.
지금은 기분이 좀 그렇네.
It's such a perfect fit. Like, that's one thing that I really, really like about... That's one thing I really like about these IDs. Especially with the way that Limbus uses them. Like, they all tend to, like, genuinely share something new about the characters. Or even if it's... Even if it's not something, like, directly new, it's something at least, like, thematically resonant with the character. Like... I think Dawn getting, like, the really cutesy magical girl outfit is really funny, but in context of comparing her to Queen of Hatred, like, they're very akin to one another, like, extremely so. Which makes them having that similarity, like, so interesting. This one I want, Dad. Rest well, Effie.
지킬 게 많거든.
T-Corp Rodian being the first Rodian that actually, like, shows a little bit of herself. It's so...
방금 전에는 굉장했다고.
Because Honglu gets...
아르카나 세이버! 오, 머리 좋다.
Oh, that's a movement down by
방금
70.
완전 좋았어.
Because Honglu and Rodian get the Euro DVA. Get the Euro DVA IDs. But then Dawn and Rodian get to be
점수 준비 끝.
effectively taxmen for T-Corp. And it is a very specific position, especially for Rodian, like, whole deal with killing somebody who's bleeding her town dry, like, through taxes and through, like, through systems like that. Her having a role like that, even in T-Corp, or even having any type of role like that, of where she's just enacting the same violence that, like, she fought against, the fact that it makes her so upset is so cool. Like, she gets one taste. She gets one taste of the type of life of the people that, like, ruined hers, and she can't stand it. It makes her physically sick. Honglu getting Euro DVA was very interesting. I think in retrospect, it kind of shows off how I think it shows off how disconnected he is from his own affluence. Not in a sense where, like, he's not aware of it, but in the sense that he's not super clingy to it. Like, ooh. Especially considering that was before we really knew just how affluent he was. the fact that he's kind of just going along with
그게 참아들게.
going along with the Yordivie.
굉장했다고. 베르게 그 인간도 이건
Like he's not
인정할걸?
very, because him and Ryoshu were both kind of like not very, I don't want to say attuned to it. Invested. They're not super invested in the cause. Ryoshu mostly due to her own semi kind of selfishness and self-interest. But then Honglu kind of doesn't really have any specific strong, at least at that point he didn't have any really specific strong belief.
너도 누군가에게
So she's like, oh, this is probably more interesting than being like a taxman.
끝내고 버스로 돌아갈 수 있겠다. 그치?
Like the use of the IDs as a way to further explore different aspects of these same characters if they were in different positions in their life,
길일 테니.
honestly is what makes me so much more attached to this game, that and the way that it uses different outfits and like different skins, for lack of a better term. Like it's just so much more interesting to me than games that are just like, oh, here's this character now in a swimsuit. Like sometimes seeing the swimsuit is nice, but I like when there's story and stuff like actually attached to it, when it like enriches the character. I like thinking about all the different ways that like these characters
지금 달려보면 딱 좋겠어요. 대가리 딱
like show off different sides of themselves. That's why
지키기 위해
ever since seeing Ryoshu with Skullface and Spider-Bud, it made me so much more interested in her, and the fact that she got 2 Spider-Bud egos, and the fact that they're making so many connections between her and Kali.
충격 트위치.
Like,
완벽한 한 발. 시원한 걸.
an easy way for me to like a character, if not for like my own initial attachment to them,
효과적이네요. 이
draw
방식을
parallels
기억하는 게
between
좋겠어요.
them and a
놀라운
character that I am
명령이네요.
super already like
적을
invested
완벽히
in.
파악하고 있으신 거군요.
Like Kali straight up is my favorite Sephiroth. Yeah, she's my favorite Sephiroth, and she's my favorite Sephiroth. She is my second favorite patron librarian.
점수 준비 끝.
She's only my second favorite because somehow Cheshire went from one I hated to somebody who I really liked in Ruina.
고기라도 먹은 것처럼 기운이 솟잖아.
날
But like no, I'm super invested to see what happens. That's what I want to see.
충격 트위치.
I want my biggest
엄청난 공격이었어.
I think I hated Cheshire in
만한 걸?
yeah, no. I hated Cheshire in LobCorp because of
기운이
because of his apathy while running
때려눕히자고.
the welfare department. That was before the story stuff. He took a while for me to like. But when I like started getting through more of the story, that's when I started warming up a lot more for him. But Kali I liked like from minute go.
아무것도 남지.
And then Ruina just made me like her so much more.
이것뿐이야?
That's why my biggest hope is that Ryoshu mimics a little bit of Kali.
아무튼
Um,
놀라운 한 방이네요.
and I hope that she
만만치
I want her to get mimicry. I don't care how it works. I don't care how it happens. I want her to get a mimicry ego. I want her to get a mimicry ego so bad.
이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어요.
But in order for her to get that mimicry ego, there has to be an Aleph in the game.
파악할 완료.
And I've kind of been holding on to the theory for a while that Ryoshu would get the first Aleph, because we are now 2 years deep and there has been no sign of an Aleph yet.
이건 인정할걸?
대가리.
And with all the build up and the connections to Kali, with everything that Kankui had said, with how close we're getting to the security department, how close we're getting to Ryoshu's chapter. I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah, that was the part that made me really like her. The mission where it's like, yeah, you need to suppress Abnos. And it's like, okay, how do I suppress that many in one day? And then the answer is that you let them out. You let them out specifically. You specifically let them out just to validate her anger. Her and the argument that Mu end up having is like really fun because of that. And like thematically it makes sense because it's like, okay, you're like somewhat repeating. Whoops. You're somewhat repeating like what happened. You're repeating what happened at the old branch and everything that went awful. Technology Liberation Alliance. You're repeating everything that went awful, mostly kind of like as a way for her to prove herself again. But even then, what makes that really funny is that you technically can do that, but then still hire the rabbits to solve some of the problems. But yeah, no, getting to that point and not having a lot of stuff kind of stopped for resets. Not a fun time. Definitely not a very, I want to say, pleasant time. Neither was that boss fight, but you kind of just have to, deal or explode, I guess. I'll make that work. I can sell the poison one. But yeah, that's my crackpot theory. My crackpot theory is that Ryoshi will get the first Aleph. I hope that it's mimicry. My super far-flung crackpot theory is that I want her to manifest her ego. I think that would be the coolest possible thing for Ryoshu. Because we already saw Heathcliff distort, and it's been kind of a while since then. So like, if Ryoshu gets pushed to her limit and manifests her own ego, which also would bring her in line with this one's gonna be a little bit difficult. Which would also bring her in line with Kali. So I'm just saying. It'd be really neat. It'd be really, really, really neat.
잠수 준비 끝.
Having two characters that I really like being very similar to one another and also being very special, and I'm gonna kill you.
다들 힘이 솟는 것 같네요. 지금 달려들면 딱 좋겠어요.
I completely like mentally blanked the second I saw her. I'm sorry. I think it'd be very neat if two characters that I really like have similar arcs in development. But I want to see how Ryoshu reacts differently. Which also makes me very excited to see what happens when we do get to run into the security department. That also means that Kali's gonna get a... Holly's gonna get an announcer hat.
좋아. 얼른 끝내고 밥 먹으러 가자고.
Oh, I want that bad. I want that real bad. I want that really bad. I want that really, really, really bad.
정의 이름으로.
Please stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger.
기적해 찾아졌지 않나. 거대.
I don't know why, very specifically, Nelly pisses me off more than any of the other enemies.
효과적이네요. 이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어요.
And like, I've read Wuthering Heights too,
금방 끝내고 버스로 돌아갈 수 있겠다. 그치?
but even that can't, like, change how I feel about her. You know what? She deserves it.
나아가주게.
어? 지키기 위해서.
She gets sent down by sinking in a sinking kanto. Yeah, sucks to be her.
정의보다도
Maybe she should.
사랑보다 불간자는 운명 속에 파묻힌 그대 이름을 걸고 여기서 비찬 냄새 우리 앞에 막는 증오스러운
I-
존재들에게
Trying to like even find the right words. I'm like blinded by hatred. The thing with the letter. It was the fact that she had the letters and that she knew how both of them felt and just didn't say anything.
완벽한 한발
Like, to me, she's more at fault for a bunch of stuff that happens. To me, she's kind of like a linchpin in why a lot of the bad things happen. But I also kind of have somewhat, there we go, somewhat of a personal, I guess you can say, attachment to letters and that type of communication between people. So the idea of her keeping those letters from the two of them while they very clearly have important things they want to say to each other and how much they cared for each other and how that just directly dominoed into both their lives being ruined. I don't know if I want to take the risk in refreshing, because I do want to do this. Yeah, evil defining. But yeah, I don't know. People kind of getting in the way of other people's relationships tend to really irk me to a very almost absurdly high degree. So I do not forgive her, and I cannot wait for another chance to kill her.
자,
No, let me correct that. I hope for a
난
chance to
믿어주면
finally kill her.
배신하지 않아.
It's almost absurd, but I genuinely think I might hate her more than I hate Ahab. And like, that's really saying something
좋아.
for me.
잘 됐네. 잠수 준비 끝.
But because I can even have this strong of a reaction,
저것들
and I did take off
상당히
Captain like right
즐거워
before this, it should be
뭔가
fine.
기운을 내게 하는 걸 먹었을지도 몰라요.
Am I missing? Oh, I'm missing Gluttony, which means I can't use the other red eye. But
대가리 딱 떼고. 총알. 조명이
yeah,
전면
I have
접었을
strong feelings when it comes to
모든 것을 접었을
Nelly.
거다.
That was 998 damage.
엄청난
Okay.
공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸. 완벽한
Um,
한 방. 차라리 시원한 걸.
Which is really funny because more that I think about it, especially at the start of the game, with
놀라운 한 방이네.
how major
오,
my
기운이
feelings
솟는다, 단테.
were,
가서 빨리 때려 눕히자고.
and can say, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would say my feelings for, I'm not sure if I would say my feelings for Cromer are or were major. They were definitely interesting. I think Cromer's neat. I think Cromer's neat. I think Cromer's neat. I have not been able to stop thinking about her literally since I've finished that kanto.
나아가주게.
누군가에겐 아껴졌겠지만. 자, 체디. 나를 따라해보는 거야. 짜잔.
Part of me hopes that she comes back. Part of me hopes that she comes back.
한 번 휘두른 걸로 이렇게나? 완전 멋있는 걸? 얼얼하지? 정신 못 차릴 거야.
Well, that should kill them all.
정의보다도 푸른 자여, 사랑보다 붉은 자여. 운명 속에 타묻힌 그대 이름을
The fans in the back cheering on are so funny.
빛의 냄새. 우리 앞을 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을! 아르카나 슬레이어!
There. There is one that is like missing. Her right hand's like missing either a pinky or the way that they're lined up so that it really hides one of her fingers.
낙맥 충전 최대치예요.
D5? Oh no, it's still alive.
생각보다
Oh my god, oh my god, leave her alone.
쟤 금방이라도 고기
Ah,
조각이 될 것 같은데.
there's the second one.
괜찮을까?
Magical girls can't. Chant. I'm so used to that. I'm so used to saying chant. Can't. Power up with defense up. Sorry, cells consume charge. Charge count. Ooh. 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 Wait. Okay, so that's based off the consuming charge. I can do that. She'll get that normally. This corrodes. This consumes charge, doesn't it? No, only normal. Think? Unless I can't read. No, it doesn't. Damn, so I have nothing you can use for that. Oh, actually... So I can do this, that'll be 4. I think that'll be enough to kill.
대가리 딱 떼도.
Count to 5 had such great music.
나도 누군가에게
Granted a lot of my
주인께서 명하셨습니다. 당신 청소하라고. 나도
Granted, a lot of my affinity for Moby Dick kind of comes from MGS5. Not like entirely, but definitely a good portion of it.
나도 그렇게는 안 했을 것 같은데. 단테, 많이 피곤해?
Come on, it's so close.
사냥이 성공적이었네요. 이 흐름대로
She has serious skull buster she can kill.
목을 내놓고 있도록.
그들 또한 잠.
There we go.
지금이다. 해골바가지 거미 대가리. 자!
Love her. I would be ending on this even though I started with Pequod Captain Ishmael and then I swapped her out immediately. I'll go up. I can probably go into that other one up there too, and then still be fine.
해파. 누굴 팰지 내가 정한다.
Speaking of characters that are actually starting to...
고기라도 먹은 것처럼 기운이 솟잖아.
Speaking of characters who are showing a little bit more of themselves, I like that Marcel's getting a lot more... a few more IDs that have wrath in them.
대가리 딱 떼도.
Because his conso's coming up soon. And like, he's still been very reserved.
낙뢰 충전.
And it makes me kind of wonder why Faust got Forsaken Murder weapons and gear, but Marcel got the ego. And why he also ends up sharing a couple of egos that Dawn also got. And then Faust also gets a couple of egos that share with Dawn. Those three tend to be repressing a lot of certain emotions, and I'm really curious to see how this finally manifests. Oh my god, we're getting close to like 3 layers of we're getting close to like 3 different layers of buffs and debuffs. Granted, after about like 2 years, I kind of did expect this. And also, to be fair, it's not like it's super far. Like, there's certain characters in Grand Blue that get special 42? There are certain characters in Grand Blue that get like bonuses based off of if they have like 10 debuffs on them or not. This town cannot protect anything against a depressed knight and a magical girl. They are inferior. And a guy who really misses his wife.
지금이다. 해골바가지 거미 대가리. 부족해 차려졌지 않나.
Damn, that was enough. I think if Pequot Town... had a slightly different... I'm just angry for no reason at this point. I mean... if I was wrongfully accused of a crime, I'd be pretty upset too. Wait, you're probably talking about Heathcliff, not Marcel.
안에 갇혀
Actually,
죽어라.
I probably should watch The Stranger.
차라리 아무것도
It's been a while since I've watched a depressing French film. I think the last one was Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
아무튼 놀라운 한방이네요.
아르카나 빛! 오,
She
머리
does so
저도
much
상태.
damage.
방금 완전 좋았어.
While I'm already spouting off like crazy headcanons, the
부족해 찾아졌지 않아.
Violet doesn't remember his life, he's just mad. Honestly, I'd be upset if I forgot my wife too.
베르게 그 인간들 이걸 인정할 걸?
공격 범위 확인.
Though while I'm shouting off like crazy headcanons, my basic idea for Otis is that she ended up killing a lot of people on somebody's orders and regrets it and hides herself from it.
다들 힘이
Because of a
솟는
lot
것
of
같네요.
egos and
지금 달려들면
ideas,
딱 좋겠어요.
Man of La Mancha is neat. Manager's real neat. I like her.
지키기 위해서
I think whatever Otis did,
부족해 찾아졌지.
she acted on orders, and it resulted in a lot of people dying, a lot of very innocent people dying.
방금 전에는 굉장했다고. 베르게 그 인간들 이걸 인정할 걸?
내가 알아서
So it's going to be very interesting seeing what her Kanto has her dealing with. But for right now, the only one that I'm really concerned about, and not concerned, the only two that I'm really
지킬 게 많거든.
incorrect, three. The three that I'm keeping my eye on the most right now are Ryoshu, Rodian, and Mersault. Faust, I think I have... Faust I want to see more of. Faust I just kind of want to see more of to get a better gauge of what she is kind of up to. She's the only one that I still feel like I can't have a solid read on yet. Which means that it's good writing. Because I can't just immediately guess like whatever is whatever might be coming next. Which I think is fun in a story. I like being able to theorize and pick together ideas that might come to fruition, but I don't like having, like, oh, this is what's definitively gonna happen. I like having enough pieces to get most of the way there, but not the last few crucial ones that would solve, like, everything. Can I get anything else for sinking? Pure skills, 13, the components of 2 or fewer. I'm just gonna do these. I get charge. Ooh. No, that's only the first deploy. Damn it. Wait, no. Well, if... Damn it. No, because I'm not going to switch that one around. Just going to upgrade these, because whatever. Do I have a tremor? No. I'll sell these two, since I'm not really using them. One, I don't need these. Two, I don't need this. Don't need you. Is there anything else I can just kind of like upgrade for free? Gluttony Absolute Resonance, which means I can sell that. Actually, I could have just put on the talisman. Actually... Because Queen of Hatred, Dawn, does apply Rupture. not enough cash. Nope, not enough. Alright. Can I? No, I think everything is good as is. Alright. Time to melt the boss. And this went by actually pretty quick too, so this does give me a chance to do the
지금 이곳에
to do the hard variant of
쟤네 고기라도 먹은 것처럼 기운이 솟잖아.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but I have to melt you. Also, sorry Starbuck, but you're not gonna make it out of here. This fight used to annoy me so much because of how difficult it was. But it is a very cool fight. Like, legitimately fantastic. Both from a thematic and mechanical standpoint.
나아가주게.
직접 밝혀주마.
She is so 40. She's rolling for 40.
아무것도 남지 마라.
314.
시원한 걸. 아르카나 빛.
She has aura. She has everything that you could possibly ask for. I love that skill so much for Yusong. That attack animation is probably my favorite in the game.
어리석은 의무는 품지 말았어야지.
나도 그렇게는 안 했을 것 같은데. 단테,
Love you,
많이
good.
피곤해? 나중에 이야기할까?
Because it just makes her more cool. Because why not? I want two people. No. Yeah. Because she can win that. He can win that. I want him dead. Oh, I'm sorry, Starbuck. Not really though, you kinda need to explode.
정의 이름으로.
Tragic. Even if you are forgotten to the world, I'll get you back.
오, 머리 좋다 단테. 방금
27.
완전 좋았어.
This was excessive. She didn't need to do this.
당신 청소하라.
203.
저것들 상당히 즐거워 보이는데요. 뭔가 기운을 내게 하는 걸 먹었을지도 몰라요.
How much? She has to have like a bunch of cards. She's at 23. Yeah, no, she's good. She's fine. She's fine. She could defend. think it's funny if she defends. That shield is not gonna last you. I'm sorry. $388. $327. That is doing nothing to her.
다들 힘이 솟는 것 같네요. 지금 달려들면
Still
딱
strong.
좋겠어요. 공격권 확인.
Would have been so funny if it took 2 bullets just to make her explode. Oh, come on.
지금이다. 대골바가지 거미 대가리. 기적해 차려졌지 않.
That was serious spellbuster.
나이스! 하나 제꼈다.
Kill. You know what? Hang on. Nope, can't do it on that one. Whoops. Did that on instinct. Okay.
주게.
You can come up with a crazy panic state type. These not yet. Some of those things take time. Because it's a lot of different mechanics for them to come up with and figure out how those all work. And how that works for different characters. And how to interact with the different mechanics. So I can understand them probably not doing that earlier on. Like, I still really like Kanto 5, but it was definitely a growing pain type of chapter.
이상이 무엇이라 생각하시오?
414.
너를 구하러 오겠다는 사람은 없더라고.
Love that she gets that. The only way to end it. $577.
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
Boss, you want to explain why you have full health again? I didn't know. Yeah. Should we start entering that? Huh. Well.
공격 범위 확인.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or at least it makes you easier to kill again. Golden Pan is kind of for Queen of Hatred. I do hope that we get like one of these really aggressive revelations for one of the library floors. Mostly because I think it'd be really funny for them to walk in on that.
저 부표처럼 흔들리는 놈이 제1 사냥감이겠네요. 가서 끝장내죠.
I think instead I will just kill you.
공격 범위 확인. 지키기 위해서.
9 HP. Oh no. Oh well.
정보다도 풍자, 사랑보다
The rage
불가사.
of a magical girl cannot banish you, but mayhaps the love of one can.
여기서 빛의 냄새. 우리 앞을 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을! 아르카나 스웨이머!
And it did.
예전보다 많이 나아진 것 같다. 나도.
Yeah, and I've
그러고
gotten a lot
보니까
better than before,
그
I think.
환상체,
Speaking of which,
이제
that
가오를 내려줄
abnormality,
나이가
the
없어졌지.
kid she blessed is gone, right?
다시
I wonder if they'll let me manage her
맡겨주실까?
again. $7.4K, 7K, 6.1K. Damn you, song. I love this boy. I think I heard it, but mostly because I was in the middle of doing something else. She loses her mind. I think I can play it in the manager notes.
밤이 되었지만 퇴근할 수 없다네. 본인의 담당이자 친구인
We were continuing for Our Lady Magical Girl. Her responsibility and a dear friend hath deigned to enact justice at this hour. Forsooth, as an employee, 'tis mine obligation to assist her.
피곤하긴 하네만.
It's not that late. Whoops. I forgot where the...
되었지만
Whoops, not there. Hmm.
결국 이렇게 된 것인가? 나도 똑같아. 제압을 성공하지 못한 나는 쓸모없는 내 머릿속에서 나가! 이 목소리 좀 멈춰줘!
Failing her duty as a magical girl. Because it goes so constantly between... Actually, what is your check fail?
실패했네. 이제 본인이 필요치 않아지는가?
Yeah. She oscillates so much between...
해냈네! 다음에도 꼭 본인에게 맡겨주게!
Because, like, that's what I mean. Queen of Hatred is such a perfect fit for her. Like, they both oscillate, well, at least used to. They both oscillate between, like, really high highs and then really low lows.
퇴근할 수 없다네.
Yeah, Dawn's VA is incredible. Genuinely super incredible and fantastic as a performer. Like, all of the VAs really in this do incredibly well. Okay, that's planning for later. I guess I will give the hard mode one run.
복제팀의 협조가 필요한 거지.
Give the hard mode a run, just whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
와일드 헌트야.
I'll give the hard mode a run. I'll probably do thread since I might as well, since it's
저건 좀 복잡하네.
turn 1 of 99.
솔직하게 말할게. 나한테는 좀 어려워. 이건 너희가 해결 못해도 이해할게.
So I was imagining, like, how could you possibly make this fight, like, different from how it currently is? Because it's a mechanical task. It's not like a stat check. '20 or higher speed, please fire +1. Thankfully we don't have that. There.
목을 내놓고 있도록.
I just need the first few turns to go well. So much damage. She's already close to stagger. I wanna find. Yeah. There's influence. There are spare sweepers.
직접 밝혀주마.
The one for lobotomy, there's gonna be a. I'd imagine there would be more overlap between more ruinous stuff, at least for right now. But that mostly comes down to the expanded overall setting. Like, they just have so much more that they can pull from after Ruina. But then there's also a bunch of stuff that they can pull back from Bobcourt, so, like, especially the stuff with Hohenheim, I really didn't expect them to do. I want to protect her. Dominating. Faust either might have to defend, or... Yoshi might have to defend here.
목을 내놓고 있도록.
Come on. Just have to be a little bit careful. Anything, I should probably switch the, I should have switched Rhodey into the, in negative coins. That mostly seems to be the main gimmick that they want me to engage with here. Actually, you know what? I'll do that. Because I have a feeling that Rodian's just going to be a lot more consistent if I put her into the negative state. It's okay, Dawn, I promise. It's perfectly okay, I promise. I wanted to reset. I wanted to reset because I wanted to put Rodian in her negative state for the start of the fight. Because if I switched later on into the fight, it would have been much harder. Oh, all of these are bad. Cool. Favored. Both of these are... Neither of these are great, but they're both favored at least. +4, so I can do that. I can at least put most of them into a powered state. It also works well, considering that a couple of the swords get increased coin power if certain sanity thresholds are exceeded. Please, there we go. Love you, Yi-san. They really didn't have to make him as cool as they did. Okay. Now we killed her. Don't need this. Alika? Ah. Favored. Yi-san could probably take that and be fine. Rodian can take that easily. I want the extra security on that. You could put... You're walking the razor's edge, my king. You don't need to compliment them for doing the bare minimum. I really... Because they're also gonna have to add the... They're also gonna have to add the library versions of Pipit, which is something I'm very excited about. Even just in concept, I do like Kali a lot, but Pipit is probably my third favorite librarian. Even though Hod's really cute. Like really, really, really cute. one I'm gonna have to rely on the coins for beating. These are like real bad. She can endure. It'll be fine if she takes it. No, she won't survive that, but... You know, Faust is just gonna end up taking a beating, I guess.
나아가주게.
We can hope that she doesn't, but there's no guarantee in that. She tried. Okay, she's almost at max sanity, so I don't need to worry about her for the rest of the fight.
효과가 굉장히 좋았어. 기록적인 피해량인 것 같아.
Thank you for contribution, Faust. Please do not... Don't hate me for letting you take the damage you're about to take. You slung my baby boy. I thought she barely wasn't gonna get hit, but whatever, it's fine. One sword. She's still gonna live. And this one's actually right about to explode too.
잠깐. 진짜? 왜 부서팀장을 안 달아줬지?
This one's only gonna stay at 10. Ooh, that's a slight problem. That's new. Yeah, no, that needs to break. That needs to break. Or else that's gonna be really bad. Earl King's gonna end up taking one. Higher basis beats the next one. Then I can't take that. But he can at least block that. That's gonna hit Earl King. But it's fine if it hits him. Not good. Oh, she won that.
어렵지 않지? 이미 관찰 기록이 있는 유형대로만 공격하면 되잖아. 관찰 기록을 잘 읽은 것
That's a unique move.
훌륭했어.
직접 밝혀주.
Second sword. That's two.
무슨 일 있었던 건가? 아까 어떤 직원이 제압 개체에 한 번에 입힌 피해량이야.
And our sanity is all mostly fine, honestly.
부서팀장을 안 달아줬지?
She needs something else that'll break that. 100% favored in that one. The rest of these just need to hit. Actually, I can get a resonance on this. Uh-oh. No, that goes after Earl King. And that just made my ego stronger. So hopefully this actually kills. Or at the very least it gets rid of one of the swords. Installs for another turn.
정의보다도 큰 사랑보다 불만장 운명 속에 타묻힌 그대 이름을 걸고 여기서 빛의 맹세 우리 앞에 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한
Animation's
사랑의
so
힘을 보여줄
elaborate.
것을 아르카나 슬레이어!
Oh, and it's hitting the sword too. I think that's the sword dead. Come on. There we go. Exactly what I needed.
가슴 가장 깊은 곳까지 박히도록.
Love that. I love that so much.
죽여주마!
She should be staggered after this. Yeah?
우리 앞에 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을
한원이라도 쌌냐? 요전에
With a fire bullet, the disciplinary team recently studied the Clipot intervention field technology. Is that what it does?
아무튼
Well, whatever it was, it did the job. I do like the little side talk about the bullets, because it's such a unique mechanic. I'm glad at the very least that it's being referenced.
정확하게.
직접 후회를 새겨주마!
And I get to fit in one more serious skullbuster. And another Arcana Slave.
지금이다 해골바가 거미 대가리 차!
392.
제압이 잘 진행되고 있어.
And she's dead.
큰 손실이 일어나기 전에 모든 게 안정화돼 정확하게. 걱정할 필요가 없는 건 좋네. 잘했어.
아르카나 빛
이제야 회사가 정상으로 돌아갔네.
I'm
이번
surprised her
제안은
Arcana
끝이야.
beat didn't go off.
너희들도 고생 많았어. 티페리트.
That her Arcana Slave didn't go off.
언젠가
I thought it would have
우리도
went off first turn.
모든 게
I
끝날
guess it'd
때가
wait
오면
until the
좋겠네.
end of the turn, maybe.
그때가 되면
승리의 보람과 세상의 아름다움에 대해 들어본 적 있는가? 없어도 전혀 상관없다네. 지금 우리가 보는 경치가
What
바로
missions did I do then?
그런 것일 테니.
Queen of Hatred took less than 3 hits. Complete the encounter without letting Heartbreaking Sword, Heart Tearing Sword, and Heart Piercing Sword revive once. Yep, I did that accordingly. Use Arcana Slate to suppress the Night of Despair. Yeah, so that's just letting it end the way that it's supposed to. Clear the encounter with Central command team captain surviving and taking less than 5 hits. Have a welfare team model employee inflict a certain amount of sinking or rupture. Have the welfare team model employee clash against heart-breaking sword, heart-tearing sword, and heart-piercing sword once respectively in an encounter. Oh, yeah, because I didn't have her do that. The victory screen. Yeah, no, the victory screen. This is so long. Use minus coins a certain number of times. Yeah, so they want you to use that. Clear it without ally dots. Clear encounter without any of the allies reaching negative 45 SP. Clear encounter without any allies reaching 10 cold black tears. Oh, so these are the last 3 that I'm missing then. The Arcana Slave. Complete the encounter with Central Command Team Captain, surviving and defeating 3 swords that have helpless tears. So it's basically having Rodian and Dawn clash. And then you get a L-Corp Central Command Team thing. Okay, so I think that's good then. Admittedly, that went a little bit faster than I expected. I was waiting. I've been waiting so long for Rodian to get like a really... like an ID that I just love for her, and like finally she gets one. Finally she gets one that I absolutely adore for her. Of course Dawn is really cute too, but... I love my tall, depressed Russian woman. I'd do anything for her. I wish she got more. I wish she got more like really cool IDs, but at the same time, Ryoshu kind of gets a lot of the ones that I consider really cool. So that's my bias. If there's anything that I'm like upset about, I'm upset that LCCB Assistant Manager Ryoshu is the only version of her that gets a shotgun. I wish that she got that in like another ID, or at least in like a 3-star uptie. But I guess we can worry about that later. She's sleepy. Where are you? There you are. So about nights, aren't they kind of depressing? Spending life upholding the laws of God in the pursuit of valor and justice, until one day this feeling of doubt starts creeping in. What if everything I ever did didn't actually protect or uphold anything? Then why? Why do I even exist? Her voice actor, also beautiful voice, fantastic performance. Like, God. The more I listen to her, the more I fall in love with Rodian. But yeah, I think that's probably it for right now. That's pretty much all that I wanted to do. And honestly, I expected kind of something to go wrong with the mirror dungeon. But no. Oh, that's what we're taking that for a little bit. But yeah, no, that's probably it for right now. So, thank you for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I almost blanked again. I really wonder when the next Intervallo is. Because I kind of want to see what the next big story thing is. But yeah. Blue Sky, links to Blue Sky, the Discord are down below. Feel free to follow on any of the socials that you want. I'm getting better at not forgetting to cross-post when the streams go live, thankfully. I don't know why I keep sometimes forgetting. But yeah, Wednesday is Deus Ex, and then Friday is going to be something fun to read. So I'll make sure to have tea for that, because that might be long. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, no matter when you're watching this. And yeah, take care of yourselves and be kind to yourselves. Johnny.